Welcome to this week's episode of Gain and Glow, a healthy lifestyle podcast with me, Vanessa.
And me, Crystal. Well, we're just going to jump right in.
Yeah.
Today's dope quote is from Mahatma Gandhi. It is health that is real wealth and not pieces of gold and silver.
Oh, I love that. It's very, very, very true. Health is actually what's going to be the most beneficial to you in your entire life.
Right? Like it's funny. I was just having this conversation with my roommate where we were talking about how you take care of yourself now is setting your future self up. Just like how we try to plan for retirement and stuff. It's like, you'll taking care of your physical health. It's like now will help you get to that point later where it's like, oh, you're not walking hunched over and you could live on your own and all that stuff and have that mental sharpness. Because, I mean, physical and mental health, as we know, go together.
Yeah. It's funny. I was having a little bit of an existential crisis the other night when I was watching TV because I can't even remember who it was. An actor came on and they were significantly aged from the last time that I saw them, but still like spry and like somewhat healthy. And it got me like down that mental spiral of, oh my God, I'm 30. I'm getting older. One day I'm gonna be wrinkly. Oh no. And I started like having that little bit of like a panic attack over the thought of like aging. And I was like, if somebody came to me today and was like, I have a magical pill to make you live like a long, healthy life, would I take it? And I'm like, absolutely. And then in the same time, I'm like, well, I mean, really, that's like eating well and exercising every day. So as I continued to eat a little bit of ice cream, like, no big deal.
But yeah, that's so funny you say that because like that brings us to today's topic.
Yes. Yes.
We're going to talk about the book by Oonagh Duncan, Healthy as Fuck.
I want to just add that both of us individually are trying to keep this podcast clean enough for anybody to listen. So we're going to trail off. The book references multiple swear words that we will try to censor throughout this. But the title itself is Healthy as
Fudgesicles.
Rock.
Yeah, it's so funny. I love this book because I think it just felt like you were listening to a friend who's giving you a little bit of tough love.
Yeah, tough love on things that you already know deep down.
Yeah, deep down we know what to do to like make ourselves better and she breaks it out pretty simply with her 7 habits of highly healthy health. Okay, I just
highly healthy.
Highly. Oh, I don't know. Okay, I can't say it.
It's 7 habits of highly healthy mother
truckers.
And she breaks the book down really well. First, the writing it literally is. You're so right. It's like a friend, like giving you advice, like kind of tough love advice, and that's how she writes as well. So it made it really easy to. I'm gonna say the word read, but I need you to understand what I mean is listen to it on Audible.
I read it. She listened to it.
Yes. Crystal read the words. I listened to them in my ears.
But yeah, she breaks combined.
Yeah, I absorbed it into my mastermind. But she breaks it down into the 7 healthy habits. Basically, that people that you meet who are highly healthy and who live healthy lives, these are the 7 basic concepts that they have like mentally grasped, and they're so wonderful.
Yeah, and it's so funny because we were talking about this before the episode, and I'm like, these are all things that my trainer kind of put in my brain that I just kind of stuck to because he told me to. And then I was like, oh yeah, Una's a personal trainer. So,
Yep.
She's worked in the health and fitness world for a long time.
Yeah.
And so guess what number 1 is, guys? Eat your vegetables.
Vegetables. This one is so important. This is like something that I feel like when I was growing up, my meals, even like the well, quote unquote, well balanced ones, did not have the concept of filling half of your plate with vegetables. It was always surrounded by the meat. Like it was like, here's your protein, and then you kind of like pepper in the sides. But her concept is totally different.
Yeah, I think one of the best ways to kind of wrap your mind around it, like I used to look at eating vegetables as like it's a big portion of my plate and it's normally like at dinner time, but like really to pepper in vegetables throughout your day, like if you're having an omelet, dice up some onion and bell peppers, sprinkle a little bit of spinach. Let me tell you, you can hide spinach in almost anything. Like I just dice it up and mix it with my ground beef when I make tacos. Nobody knows. And you're still getting some spinach.
You can also do that with kale. Kale, I hate. I actually like spinach, but I do not like kale. I think it tastes like dirt. So I started mixing it in with stuff, and I did that. I make my nana, my grandma, my mom's side. She taught me a recipe where she made it for me all the time when I was little. It's called albondiga soup, which I'm pretty sure just means meatball soup in Spanish. But usually she would put like hominy and stuff. I started throwing kale in it and chopping it up, and there's ground beef meatballs with rice, and I threw kale in it. Hit it perfectly.
I love it. I love hiding vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
Like I recently saw a recipe for a smoothie that had cauliflower in it, and I was like, I would never put cauliflower in my smoothie.
I would never.
But I'm like, people are like, yeah, oh, that's good. Da, da, da. Okay, let me tell you, she told me to put half a cup. I would say put a quarter cup if you don't want to taste the cauliflower. Maybe add a little orange juice to like counteract the cauliflower, but still, like I put it in my fruit smoothie like with some yogurt, and it was great. I was like, oh, sweet, secret vegetables.
That's awesome. I see. I'm a parent. I have a child who's grade school age, which means that I hide vegetables a lot. Like a lot. Like I hide those babies in anything. And smoothies, if you have a hard time, because Oonagh Duncan's like whole concept is building your meal around your vegetables rather than building your vegetables around your meal. If you struggle with doing that because you don't genuinely like certain vegetables, smoothies are, I would say, the best. And juices. I'm really, really, really big on fresh juices. I love like carrot, apple, lemon juice is like, oh, yes, so good. Anywho, so on to the next one.
Get enough sleep.
Oh, another thing that every single person has ever said to me when I say I don't feel good.
Right? And I feel like we talk a lot about needing to get sleep on this podcast. Yes. And it's so true. I mean, I've talked about my nude tablets, my sleepy caramel bedtime tea, like anything to help me relax so that when I go to sleep, I stay asleep. Yeah. Because nothing is worse than waking up and not being able to go back to sleep.
Yes. I know. And I'm so guilty of restricted sleep. I don't sleep enough on average. And then if I happen to want to take a nap or something, I don't take like a 30-minute nap. Every single nap is 4 hours. And then on those days, I like chop my sleep up. Oh my gosh. And since we've been locked down, my sleep is kind of a hot mess at this current moment.
Yeah, and that's something too. It's like stress affects your sleep, and I feel like we're in a very stressful time, and it's like the best way for your body to recuperate, especially if you're changing your diet and your exercising changes. Like sleep is the best recovery tool. Like even if you don't want to chug down a protein shake or something, like as long as you like get enough sleep and your life is better in general.
Yeah, like in general, just being well rested can help you like regulate your mood, regulate your appetite. It's amazing how common sense it is. I read they're like, if you don't sleep enough or if you're staying up too late like purposely, that's when you're going to feel the most inclined to snack, because your body doesn't know what it's supposed to do to fill that time because it should be sleeping. So you start to crave sugars and sodas and snacks, and that's dangerous time. Dangerous time.
Yes, definitely. It is. It is. So I guess kind of going right along in line with sleep and eating your vegetables is number 3, eliminate alcohol.
Yes, I think, didn't we just talk about alcohol? We did. I think I brought this up based on this book, was
Yeah.
how surprising it is, how easy it is to overdrink.
And like moderation, I think you think moderation in general is something that's better for you, like you're like less than what you're doing now, but real moderation is a couple drinks. Like probably a couple drinks on the weekend and like that's it. So I know that with my like whole fitness, weight loss, mental health journey, cutting out alcohol it made a big improvement. Like it doesn't just, if you don't have it, it doesn't disrupt your mood. So you don't feel snacky, you don't feel like hungover, you don't feel a little irritable. It just kind of just takes that option of making yourself fluctuate, like those feelings and cravings fluctuate. It's just like get rid of your cravings.
Yeah.
And if like you think about it like that, it makes it a little bit easier to not have it. And especially like I like to say, oh, I just promised myself this month I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Because then it's like it's not like you don't have to have, like it's not like you can't have it ever.
Right. It's not like you have to, in order to live a healthy lifestyle, that doesn't mean you have to completely eliminate alcohol from your life. But it just means being realistic with yourself. Like the best way I've grasped it, like the way it hit me is I was thinking, well, I've made a lot of really good decisions with my alcohol as far as like calories and sugar goes. I'm on the White Claw train. I'll admit that loud and proud. And and I was always like, well, White Claws have like no sugar. There's like 100 calories per can. This is the best alternative because previous, I was really, well, I still do very much enjoy ciders, but they're so heavy in sugar and calories. But then I really thought about it. I'm like, well, when I'm buying a like White Claw, I'm buying at least a 6-pack, which is 6 cans, which is 600 calories. And if I've already met my calories for the day, that means I'm adding 600 more. But if I'm also trying to take 600 calories out of my day to make up for it, I feel like that is not healthy. I don't know. That just makes me think that this is not a good idea. So I had to really grasp, like, okay, yes, it's less sugar and less calories, but they still add up. There's still 100 of those bad boys. So then now when I drink, I'm like, okay, maybe like 2 or 3, and that's it. Like I'm good on that. And then at that point, I'm like, well, what was the point of drinking them in the first place?
Exactly. You do start feeling like that. So it's definitely good to like taper down and then realize, well, is this even what I want right now?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes like if I was gonna have like if I had the calorie option in my mind of like a cookie or a drink, I'm like, I might want to just enjoy a cookie right now.
Yeah, and if you do it like that, where if you like promise yourself like a special treat, you can, I don't know, you can kind of tell yourself, like, would you rather have a drink or would you rather have like a cookie? Or in my case, flan. I get these little like pre-made flans, and they're about 100 calories for one of them. And so it's like, do I want one of these flans or do I want a White Claw? Well, in reality, I want the flan. I like taste goods.
Yeah, especially if you are like kind of watching your calories, it's like the more you can like texturally enjoy something,
Yes.
I think it makes you feel better.
Yes. And of course, it's not all about calories for everybody. There's so many different aspects about alcohol, but
yeah. And on to number 4, reduce your stress.
Okay. So I feel attacked.
This is awfully personal.
This really took a turn. This one is so funny for me. This one is funny for me because I feel like my normal like internal vibration is at a certain decibel naturally. Like I feel like I'm almost like fueled by stress to a certain point, and I tend to let it get out of control. I thrive on stressing about certain things, like as far as responsibility goes, because it kind of like pumps me up. That's how I work best, is I stress a little bit, and I take myself to task with that, but I let it get out of control. And I think reducing stress is one of the hardest concepts for me.
Yeah, and it's so funny you framed it like that because it's true. Like our body naturally has a stress response to get us out of a situation. So like when I have a deadline, that's normally when I'm stressed. And I normally will kind of like almost make it so that I am stressed when it comes to the deadline. And I'm like, oh, I'll save that for tomorrow. I'll save that for, oh my God. And then you're stressed, but then sometimes it's hard to lower yourself back down. So at like with our lifestyle, we just kind of compound the stress slowly, and then you're in a constant state of stress, which is like just so bad for you to like stay in. It's like it
Yeah.
should be like an up and down response. And so, I mean, all these things and these habits are like also kind of, it's funny when you change your diet or you exercise more, it causes your body stress because
Mm-hmm.
your body's kind of like, oh, I have to adjust what's happening now. And so that's why it's a good reason, like, not to just jump into anything, but to like make those tiny changes so that it's sustainable, so that you feel better. And then when you can trust the process that you're in, that in itself helps reduce stress. You're like,
Yeah.
well, I ate my vegetables 3 times today. I stopped drinking like for whatever amount of time. Like, I know I'm doing the things that are going to be good for me. So when my body finally calms down a little bit, like, and I mean, I think a big part of stress is being mindful of what's causing your stress so that you can address it. And it's seriously like I loved her example in the book of where she was like, you might want to pay, like you might pay a fancy membership for like $60 a month, but how about instead you hire a nanny for 30 minutes or like an hour and pay her to do that, and then you go for a run. And then that way you're taking care of your house and you're taking care of yourself and you're spending more or less the same. Like,
Yeah. And I think that that's like one of the best things about her book is, yes, it's so easy to like list out 7 things to incorporate into your life to be healthy. Her main communication throughout this whole book is, first and foremost, fit and healthy does not mean thin and all of this stuff. It does not mean
perfection.
perfect. Yeah, it doesn't mean that you spend $100 something a month going to a gym and you drink protein shakes. That's not what it means at all, which is also something that we are pushing with this podcast. Is fit and healthy has a totally other concept. It's we've let society frame it around literally a physical apparition of, thin and beautiful is thin and fit is thin and everything. That's not what it is. Being fit and healthy means that you're also having the frame of mind to come up with complex solutions for your complex problems. You may not be the person that has the ability to go to a gym every single month and pay that money, but can you be the person that has a babysitter come in so you can run for 30 minutes? Absolutely. So part of living your fit and healthy lifestyle means accommodating these healthy habits into your current life, which I think in itself helps reduce stress. When you finally come to that realization of you're not striving to match someone else's picture of fit, you're striving to match the level of healthiness that you are choosing to have in your life. And in that like grasp, for at least for me, reframing my brain around that has helped me reduce at least the stress that I have about the guilt that I have on maybe not working out as much or maybe eating like more sweets than I really should be. All those things cause stress. But it's like just this general idea. And I love that she used that because it explains that everybody's life is different. And so you have to deal with it different. And that also means like all of your stressors are different. So one person's way of reducing stress may not be your way.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, she really made a point to, adopt this into your lifestyle. Don't try and make your lifestyle fit what you think should be your ideal lifestyle. It's like you are a mom, you have a job, you have a kid, like you have dogs and cleaning and like nonstop laundry. Like don't, you know, but it's like if you can give that laundry to your husband to take on the way to work and drop it off at a laundromat and something and pay like $10, whatever, whatever it is. I don't know. I do my laundry, but, but like stuff like that, like just literally delegating tasks
Mm-hmm.
and just getting stuff off your plate, prioritizing yourself and your needs in your life in general. It's like you realize that you're in more control of things that stress you out.
Yeah.
And I've really taken that to heart too. Like when when I first started going to the gym, it was so hard for me to like go consistently, but I knew it was the only way. Like it was on my way home. I picked a gym on my way home from work so that I really didn't have excuse that it was out of the way or blah blah blah. And then when I had a trainer, it was like, well, he's waiting for me, so I have to go. And then when I didn't, it was like, this is 30 minutes for me. Like I know I'm gonna go home and get wrapped up in whatever's going on at home. So this is like important to take time for yourself, and that is beneficial for everybody because then you come home, you're in a good mood, play around with your kids.
Yeah, and your stress levels are way lower than they would have been had you have come home right after work. You
Yes.
wouldn't have had that release of energy. You wouldn't have had the release of serotonin and those feel-good chemicals in your brain. And you've also exerted a lot of what was probably stressing you at work through that workout. And then now when you come home, you're fresh. You're ready.
Yeah.
Your new, what was that video we saw the other day? 6-hour day started, which we could talk about that on another day. But
Yeah.
you kind of start over. Now you start your new phase of the day.
Yeah. And I think we kind of just skipped to number 7, which was exercise consistently, but that's okay.
That's
I mean,
all right.
you guys know what that means.
We'll brush on that again. What's number 5?
Number 5, eat everything, but in smaller portions.
I love this.
Mini flan.
And whether you count your macros or you count your calories or you don't count anything at all, I think I hate diet culture. I hate restrictive meal plans. I think they set us up to fail. I think that when we restrict ourselves and we deny ourselves of something to such an extreme, like most diets, I think that we're automatically setting ourselves up for a psychological failure and a physical failure, because then we tend to crave those things more, or we frame it with such a negative, like we're framing food with hate instead of realizing that food is medicine. It's all about portion. It's not about what you're eating. It's about how much of it you're eating.
Yeah, I was listening to this video, which we might talk about on a later episode, but it was a man interviewing a doctor, and then the doctor was like, oh, like, what about soy? Like, what about soy milk and stuff? And he's like, well, soy milk's got hormones and kind of messes with you a little bit. He's like, but you could have like a glass, like, just don't chug it every day. Like,
Yes.
oh, okay. And it's like, that's how everything is. It's like some things don't work well for your body, but maybe you enjoy it. And so just enjoy a smaller portion when you really want it. Like, I know I don't keep a lot of stuff in my house that I like to eat, like, as a treat, because I will just instinctively, like, know it's there and go to it. But every once in a while, I'll be like, oh, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get this and I'm going to enjoy it. And then you do, like, you kind of just, you take the time to enjoy it too, because you have to go physically get it.
Yeah. And I think too, like the concept of like eating everything too, it helps you kind of expand your mind. I feel like a lot of times when we're trying to get healthy or fit, which by society means skinny or whatever, which it doesn't. It means like growing your muscle and gaining confidence and control over yourself, gaining and glowing. Which is, I'm not trying to sound preachy to everybody else. I'm literally repeating this to solidify it in my brain for the millionth time. But it's also opening up your mind to eat everything by exploring new things too. if we are so controlled by not eating things, and our concepts of like becoming healthy are wrapped around not having this, not having that, restrict, we're also not experiencing new vegetables or new fruits or new types of meat, or like the guy asked about soy milk. There's so many dairy alternatives right now that are amazing, but a lot of them, certain diets will tell you not to have them because of how many calories they have or how much fat they have in them. Like oat milk is I love oat milk. It's my favorite type of milk in general. I don't really drink regular milk as it is. It's just like not my thing. But oat milk is like, I love it. But a lot of diets that I came across in the past would actually advise not using oat milk because it has typically some added sugar to it. It's got some calories to it. It's got a little fat in it. But when you're only looking at what you can't have and you're not looking at everything that you can have, like in moderation, I feel like you're limiting yourself to enjoying food, which should be a fun experience. I think so, at least. That's what my personal view is.
Yeah, I think if you want to build like lifelong habits, especially with how your eating habits, it's you have to have something that you enjoy. And I know like I kind of make that like when I was really watching my calories trying to lose weight, it was like, oh, I can't put a spoonful of peanut butter in my smoothie because that's 100 calories and so much fat and blah blah blah. But then I got almond butter and I love almond butter. I love it just as much. Like I surprisingly, I don't judge me on it, but
I love almond butter. Oh, I love
and
it.
it's like I'll take the calories and the fat from my almond butter because I'm just like it's a serving of nuts versus like the peanut butter I was getting was just like overly processed whatever. And then peanuts can also be inflammatory and I was like, well, I don't know if it is for me or not, but I'd rather go with almond butter. And so then I would skip putting like the butter in my smoothie one day, but then on another day I'd be like, yeah, that's something I can add in. And like when I want cookies and I don't really feel like I should have a cookie, I shouldn't just like, go buy cookies or make a whole bunch. I actually love to like to make my morning oatmeal like a cookie. So I measure it out because I know that like once everything's measured, it's like you're aware of what the calories are and you're not really worried about it. So like after you practice measuring is something that that I used to do a lot. You get to know like what portion sizes really look like. So when you spoon something, you're like, that is a tablespoon. That's not 2 tablespoons. Because a lot of people are like, well, I'm doing everything right. Why am I not like losing weight? It's like, well, you should really have like your 1 tablespoon is 2 tablespoons. But I'll spoon like 2 spoons of or teaspoons of brown sugar, and then like a spoonful of Nestle chocolate chips and a splash of almond milk on my oatmeal after it's all heated up. And then it's like having an oatmeal cookie, like a chocolate oatmeal cookie. And I don't feel
Yum.
any guilt about it.
See, I when I want cookies and I know I shouldn't eat like an actual cookie, I like to take slices of apple, put almond butter on them, and then put
Mm.
either like shaved coconut or chocolate chips, and it's like a cookie, and it's so good.
Yeah, so like there's definitely stuff like that where it's just like you can figure out how to make the things that you want to like enjoy. And I mean, you can even make your own like peanut butter cups or whatever. But yeah, but it's really about exploring and I guess doing some experimentation like with your food choices and stuff. It's not about like restricting because it's like there's a lot of like meal plans out there that they'll give you a portion. They're like, well, it's quinoa and zucchini and chicken, and you're like, yeah, but it's only like 200 calories, but you were used to eating 500 calories for lunch. So in your mind, you're gonna think, oh, this like pre-made food isn't working. And it's like, no, your body is not used to it. Like you shouldn't just cut out 200 calories out of every single meal right away because your body isn't going to feel good. And that's going to tell your mind that what you're doing isn't working. And so it's like, it's why these like little tiny changes are so important because that's how you like create stability for yourself.
Yeah, and you create those habits.
Yeah. So moving on, number 6, I guess kind of talked about it a little bit. Prep meals and plan ahead.
Yes. So prepping meals kind of plays into what we were just talking about. You know, when you're really focusing on eating everything and you're just balancing your portions, prepping ahead I think is one of the number one ways to ensure success. And I say that from pure 100% experience. I fail the most at eating a properly balanced diet when I don't plan it. If I don't plan and prep ahead, also because I do not enjoy cooking. I am not that person. Cooking doesn't inspire me. It doesn't excite me. I'm not like, it's just, something's broken in my brain when it comes to cooking. So I am the person that will spend $130 on groceries and then I'll turn around and I'll order delivery because I'm like, well, now I'm exhausted, right? I'm like too exhausted to cook.
Yeah, I feel you. Like I don't have a drive to cook, but one thing that has like worked, like seriously planning and prepping is, I don't know, keys to success for life. Like life hack number one, plan and prep, people. Because like I'll spend like an hour on a Saturday or Sunday or something, and I'll just be like, all right, I'm gonna make like 2 meals. And then I'm just going to box it all up and put it in my fridge. And then I can take it out whenever I want it. So normally I'll do that for like lunch and breakfast. I'll just make a ton of like baby potatoes. And then I have no problem frying up an egg for like 2 minutes and then throwing it on top of some potatoes. Or like ground beef with cabbage. It's like you could just put it in your fridge and then just pull it out and put it on salad. Or it's so funny you're talking about enjoying things that you eat, because we've been trying to eat more salad in our household, and I am not a fan of salad. I feel like it's a side dish. It's not my main meal. But my husband has been putting, I like lightly, I barely like any dressing too. Like it's like, do not, or no slimy salad. But my husband's been putting crunched up flaming hot Doritos in a salad, and I gotta tell you, I love it.
I mean, I can support this.
It's like and then like I'll throw a little bit of ground beef, like if I have a little bit of ground beef and maybe like mix with the cabbage that I cooked it with, then throw that in there, and then I have a taco salad, and then I get to enjoy like probably 3 or 4 flaming hot Dorito chips, like in little bits in my salad, and then I feel satisfied with that flavor.
That's actually a good idea of like sneaking foods in too, where it's like maybe you can take a large portion of like vegetables and sneak something bad into it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you and I, as alike as we are in so many ways, we're so opposite, because I love salad dressing. But I like the salad dressings you're not supposed to like. I like Caesar dressing.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Like a really sweet vinaigrette.
Yeah, and when you think about it, it's like I remember questioning putting salad dressing on my salad, and I was like, if I don't have salad dressing, I will not eat my salad. And so it's worth the 100 calories of 2 spoonfuls of salad dressing. Like sometimes you gotta check yourself, because
Yeah.
you gotta see what's worth it. Like what's gonna encourage you to eat better.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
And I saw this article by, I think it was Shape magazine that posted it probably like 2 years ago, because it takes me like 2 years to read the articles they send me, but I read them. The one that I came across was, a dietitian would much rather you eat strawberries dipped in chocolate than not eat strawberries at all. Or broccoli with some cheese sauce than not eat the broccoli at all. Because ultimately, the main goal is to ingest the nutrients and the vitamins and the benefits of that vegetable. Even if that means you need a little bit of something naughty. Which chocolate-covered strawberries, I think, is like one of the best examples, because I love strawberries by themselves, but if you throw a little chocolate on them, I'm like, okay, well, obviously I'm about to go wild. Like, so if you're struggling to like intake your fruits and vegetables, you can also hide unhealthy foods kind of within it. And I say that because you should really frame it around more of the healthy and less of the unhealthy, like cracking up the chips into the salad a little bit.
Yeah.
If it's going to encourage you and help you consume it, do it. Like,
Yeah.
just, again, portion, plan ahead, you know. And
Yeah.
the very last tip, which we already mentioned, exercise consistently.
And we're gonna talk more about exercise in an upcoming episode, but like being locked down or whatever, just even going on walks. Walks are so beneficial for your body in general. Just like get your body moving, doing whatever, listening to music and dancing. Just like I think the goal is like 30 minutes a day. And when you think about 30 minutes, you think, oh, I don't have a chunk of 30 minutes, but it's like you got 5 minutes 6 times throughout the day.
Yeah. And exercising every day too, it has physical benefits that you can't get other than artificially, really. Like the hormones that it releases that make you feel so much better. Also, I mean, it helps with digestive issues. If you find that during this time of course, which again, I think next week's episode we're going to talk all about this, fitness during quarantine, but if you're finding that you're experiencing a lot of digestive issues right now because you're in the house all the time, a big part of that is not moving. And when you work out, or you at least walk for 30 minutes, or do yoga for 30 minutes, or even stretch for 30 minutes, it'll actually help get your digestive system up and running again. And it can help you release some of the bloating, some of the gassiness. It can help some of that too. So it's not just about like losing weight or staying fit during, like, it's the physical benefits will ultimately make you feel better throughout your day too. But again, we'll go into that in more depth in next week's episode.
Yeah, so that's it. We walked you guys through all the 7 highly healthy habits.
Yeah. And if you haven't listened already, and I don't think we need to say this because I don't think people would think it, but we're not like, this isn't like sponsored content or anything. I came across this book and I loved it, and then I wanted to make sure that Crystal read it, and pretty much every one of my friends, I wanted to make sure they read it. But if you haven't picked this up yet, you should definitely go find Oonagh Duncan's book. It's called Healthy as Fuck. Healthy as fraggle rock. But also there's a website you can go to. It's fitfeelsgood.com. You can find her book through there, and she has a ton of free content too that helps with meal prep, and it's amazing. If you haven't already looked her up on Instagram, followed her, looked up her book, I highly recommend it. And I feel like I need to spell her first name. It's Oonagh. Oonagh. Last name Duncan. So, you guys should listen to it. Or read it, I mean.
Whatever you want. But yeah, there's like a ton of resources on our website. And it's just like, it's nice to look at inspiration too, to like kind of give you ideas and kind of get you out of your head and of your thought patterns you have now, and focus on where you want to go. And
the main message about her book that you'll get to, because she gives it to you with tough love, but it's all about framing your happiness around where you are in your life now, and understanding that a fit lifestyle and a healthy lifestyle doesn't mean meeting the criteria that society dictates. It doesn't mean restricting yourself. It ultimately means making happiness where you are currently in your life, and not framing it around your weight or societal boundaries that have been, pushed on you throughout your life, which I think is something that I just want to shout it from a mountaintop. Your size and weight do not frame your beauty or worth. That's bull.
Shiz.
Yeah, that's bull shrimp. My daughter taught me that one.
I like it. Yep. That's it.
But yeah. And I think that's all we have for you guys for this episode. So until next time.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.